Obama shifting to the Senate now after the House voted to pass that debt ceiling bill. 314 Congress members voting in favor, 117 voting against. The Senate reportedly wanting to get this deal done by the end of the week before the U.S. would default, as reported by the Treasury Secretary on Monday. And Speaker Kevin McCarthy telling this to our congressional correspondent, Kilmany Dukart. Here's that.
We're never going to get everybody. But we have spent 4 months bringing everybody together. And whether you voted for or voted against it, you wanted something more, right? I can only look at what's on the bill. If I'm going to say this doesn't have something I want, I'd vote no against every bill. But history will write, this is the largest cut in American history. It's not even close.
Well, the Senate is expected to pass the bill, but there are some objections we can expect from several lawmakers. Chief White House correspondent James Rosen is joining us now live from the North Lawn. He's got more on how the president is responding. James, good morning.
Emma and Sean, good morning to you. President Biden said last night, shortly after House passage of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, that neither side got everything it wanted. And Mr. Biden called that the responsibility of governing. In a written statement, the chief executive also thanked House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and his team of GOP negotiators for having worked, quote, in good faith. The White House depicted Mr. Biden as intimately involved in the effort to corral votes in both chambers, one that saw him and his team conducting 120 phone calls, drawing on a lifetime of congressional contacts.
That's a significant amount, 120 one-on-one. These are one-on-one. Those are the 120 that I'm talking about, calls that he and his team have made. And so the president, as you know, he was vice president, he was senator. He takes these conversations and relationships very seriously. He has relationships with members of Congress that he's had for some time now. And so that I could tell you that it will continue throughout the next couple of days.
The White House is depicting this now as a major victory for President Biden, particularly because default was averted, or at least so far, pending Senate passage. What's notable about that are two things. Number one is that it's quite in contrast with the tone from the White House ahead of the House vote last night, when the president himself made clear he didn't want to be seen taking any victory laps because it might add to the problems that they faced on the House floor last night. What's also notable is that it omits a central fact about these negotiations, which is that President Biden was drawn into exactly the kind of negotiation that he said for months he would never entertain, one in which a hike to the debt ceiling was linked with trims in federal discretionary spending. Sean and Emma.
There's still, James, questions in terms of how this moves forward within the Senate, possible amendments made. What can you tell us about that procedure? Do many senators feel like this will get done in a timely fashion?
Well, I think all of the lawmakers know that any effort at amending the legislation is going to eat up time, and it's time that the parties really don't have, with the Treasury Secretary now having assigned a new X date of June 5. There's just not that many working days between now and then. And so the White House certainly is hopeful that the amendments process will be kept to a minimum, if banished altogether, and that the legislation as crafted will make it to the president's desk soon for his signature.
All right. Democrats, of course, having majority in the Senate, Democrat in the White House. James Rosen reporting live from the North Lawn. James, thank you very much. With us now, Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde. He's been listening into the report, and of course, he knows the very latest after he voted against it just last night. Sir, welcome. Thanks for coming on National Report. Could you walk us through your thought process when it came to what was proposed by President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy?
Well, when I saw on this particular bill that there was an unlimited debt ceiling increase, it's a date, there's no actual amount. So basically, it's spending to infinity and beyond. That right there told me that this is starting out to be a really bad bill. And then when you have the rescission of $1.4 billion for the IRS, when the IRS got $79 billion rescinding, and they got it immediately. It's an advanced appropriation. So taking $1.4 billion from the IRS basically does nothing whatsoever. When I saw those two, and then when you saw the portion of it called PAYGO that is supposed to mean the Biden administration, if they want to add something in one area, they have to take away from another area. Pay as you go is what it stands for. But yet that provision is waivable, completely waivable by the OMB director. And she comes out and says, well, if it's waivable, we're going to waive it. We're going to use it. That means there's no teeth whatsoever in pay-go. It means you have complete unfettered spending from now until January the 1st. It's going to balloon our debt tremendously. Estimates are a minimum of $4 trillion. I think it's going to be a lot higher than that. This is a bad deal for all Americans.
Well, Speaker McCarthy touched on what you were just speaking about in terms of the IRS agents, the money for that. Here's that moment, and we'll get your response.
All the COVID money, the billions of dollars sitting out there that they said they would never bring back. You know what? To the taxpayer, to you hard-working Americans, we stood for you. For those who are afraid that they're going to get audited because the president wants to have 87,000 new IRS agents, right now he has 0.
Do you have a response to the Speaker?
Yeah, right now he has 0 because they just haven't hired them yet. It's not that they can't. What we did nothing to them. That advance appropriation is good until 2031. They could spend all $78 billion right now if they wanted to, and they could hire 85,000 IRS agents right now. They just haven't got to it yet. So yeah, none have been hired yet, but they will be.
Final question for you, sir. What does this mean in regards to McCarthy's role as Speaker? Are there voices within the House Freedom Caucus, perhaps, that have lost confidence in his role?
Well, I think there are many of us have lost confidence. What we agreed to in January, that agreement has been breached. This bill came to the floor under a closed rule, which means no amendments, no ability for members to have input into this bill. That's not the way Congress is supposed to operate. That disenfranchised, it silenced the voices of our colleagues, of elected representatives, and the people who elected them. And this is bad. So there's going to have to be some consequences to it. We're working through that right now. Don't know what that's going to be. What you've seen is Democrats cross the aisle and support a rule that we tried to take down when I voted against the rule because it was a bad rule for a bad bill. So we're just going to have to see what happens in the future. But definitely the Republican unity has taken a hit.
All right, but the House has passed it, the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It now heads to the Senate in the hands of the Majority Leader and others, and we'll see the outcome of that. We appreciate the time of Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde. Congressman, thank you.